Great, thank you. Mr. Hernandez.
Yes, and thank you for the question. I mean, small businesses is a critical element of our community. Knowing that my parents had a small business, a small restaurant where I started learning the value of hard work, making pizzas for the community there in the little Italian Mexican restaurant we had at the age of 12, is where I learned about customer service, smiling, and be able to do what we can to keep people happy. But it's unfortunate that right now safety is a huge concern. For Rudy Gonzalez's meat market, he's been broken into 4 times. And that's like $4,000. In San Francisco, they have a small grant program, $2,000 to $4,000 to help small businesses survive and thrive when that happens. And the city does have a responsibility to keep our businesses safe. If we don't have enough officers to do that, then the city is on the hook to make sure it's safe. We have to freeze the business line for small business tax for small businesses too, because it's been going up for the last 4 years, over 13%. So getting our numbers back up for police, making sure we can freeze the business license tax, and having a small business grant like they have in San Francisco. I look forward to implementing that program, and thank you for the question.
Great, thank you. Our next question will go to Mr. Hernandez first, and then I'll come back to Mr. Azevedo. Would you support changing the zoning code to increase housing density and heights?
Yes, and it really depends where it makes more sense, because we can't put a 60, 80-story building right behind single families, but we can put ADUs, something I have advocated for, having a streamlined approach for ADUs toolkit to help people understand how to build tiny homes for family members, for people aging in place, for the kids coming back from college that can't afford a place to live. And yes, the room was converted from your bedroom to the knitting studio or my office from home now. Sorry, but we can build those ADUs. We can build housing. Unfortunately, in San Leandro, we've approved projects, over 600 units downtown that are not being built. And goes back to construction costs, affordability, rent, and safety. I'm very supportive of doing that, and we can find ways to bring more revenue in, to make it more affordable, to make it important and safe that we want to invest in our community. And together, having that background in real estate development, I know I can do it again, and I'm proud to support 2 other projects that brought over 300 units to our community. I'm happy to support and find the ways to do that together.
Great, thank you. Mr. Azevedo.
Yes, I think we need to start with our downtown, and make sure it's more dense. I support changing the zoning to make it more dense. And Bayfair, I wouldn't mind building that up, build it up 5, 6 stories, whatever. But we do need to get more dense. We need more housing. It's expensive here. Folks can't afford to live here. I mean, I have adult kids and they can't afford to live in San Leandro. Once kids move out of once they graduate from school, it's hard to afford over here. To buy the houses over here for $1 million, that's $10,000 a month. Where can you find a job that pays mortgage to be able to pay? So it's really hard. We need mixed use. We need with commercial and housing. So it's real important that we find different elements in the city where we can get more housing for everyone. Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, this is the tough question. We'll go to Mr. Azevedo first and then to Mr. Hernandez. I bet you thought this was coming. With San Leandro facing a looming budget deficit, what and where would you propose making cuts? Mr. Azevedo, that's to you.
Okay. Yes, well, I've been looking in the budget, and there's different places where we can make cuts on different projects that we're doing, but it's important that we don't cut our social programs because those are our most vulnerable people in our community. So we need to make sure that we cut on different things where it's not going to hurt our most vulnerable in our city. So I know that our police and our fire budget's 51%. I wouldn't want to cut that budget, but I would look into different services where they don't affect our most vulnerable in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hernandez.
Thank you for the question. It took me about 3 years, but I did work through this idea that I had a concept of, and this private property transfer tax. And I'm someone who actually expands the pie. It doesn't really figure it's a fixed pie. So we can find ways always to expand the pie. We don't necessarily need to cut. We need to find the right solution to expand the pie and figure out how we can be more efficient and effective. But the transfer tax brought another $6 to $8 million. It was vital. During the pandemic, it passed in 2020 with the necessary vote. So we didn't have to cut any services, maintain the vital services that we needed during the pandemic, and keep everybody employed. So that people don't have to worry about their jobs. They can focus on their family and their health and well-being. I have a plan, I have an idea, and I'm talking through it to really expand that and bring another 25% more to our budget. And I think we can effectively do that. I look forward to implementing that plan with your support this November. So I'm about expanding the pie, not cutting. Thank you.
Great, thank you. this will be our last question.
Oh, shucks.
I know.
You're just getting warmed up.
So Mr. Hernandez, you'll be first, and then I'll go to Mr. Azevedo. But you also, don't forget, we'll have another 2 minutes later to give your closing statement as well. So our question is, each board member has just one vote, and it takes a majority vote to take action. How do you see your approach, skills, and expertise assisting you in building a collaborative board and staff?
And this is to me?
Yes.
Great. I'm a collaborative consensus builder. I try to work on interests and oppositions, really understand what people really care about, especially on the boards and commissions that I serve on. I've currently served on 5 different boards at the same time, from San Diego Rotary to the Food Pantry to Ava Community Energy, currently the chair of that advisory committee. And when I was in city council, it was hard, but you work to find out how we can move together. What are the things that really matter and how we can get the answers so that we can benefit the community. I'm still doing that today on the Eden Health District Board, being able to move us forward. That body was just granting in the hundreds. Now we're getting to the millions. This year, we're giving away about $500,000, $750,000 and $1 million. So I had to make sure they saw the value of making a difference. And that difference is helping us save St. Rose Hospital, and it's a vital safety in the property. So I work to understand where people are at, what are their concerns, just like Chabot Road. Everybody cares about safety. We have to find the way forward, and we can do it together. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Mr. Azevedo.
Yeah, can you repeat the question?
Sure. Each board member has just one vote, and it takes a majority vote to take action. So how do you see your approach or your skills or expertise in assisting you in building a collaborative board and staff?
Yeah, well, I've been on the council these past 4 years, and I work well with my colleagues and the mayor. We don't always agree on everything. We've had some issues, but we work good together. And I've passed over 10 policies since I've been on the city council. So I believe that we just got to work together and work through without violating the Brown Act. We work together. We talk to each other when we can and try to work on the issues to make sure that, what's best for the community. So sometimes we got to compromise, but without compromising our values. So that's what it's all about, working together and seeing what's best for the community. And yeah, it takes 4 votes to pass anything, and we're only 1 vote. So we got to make sure it's something that, that all council members agree with. There were a majority for their districts because, San Leandro, we're voted by where we live. We run where we live, but the whole city votes on every district. So it's a majority vote. Yeah. So thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, now we're going to go to the concluding statements. The candidates will have 2 minutes each for their closing statements. We'll begin with Mr. Hernandez this time. So whenever you're ready.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much to the women voters and members and guests for this evening's opportunity to share a little bit about myself, my passions, my interests, and how we can move our city forward. As mentioned, safety is the top priority in our community. We need to increase our number of police officers and support and build that trust once again with them so they can serve our community. And of course, something goes wrong, we hold them accountable, and we work together to find solutions forward for everyone. I'm committed to housing. I have that background in housing. I started with my father fixing up homes and getting them sold to first-time home buyers, specifically Latinos in the community, and making a difference so they can have a home and live the American dream. Infrastructure is critical. If we're not fixing roads, filling those potholes, how can we get around town? And then people see it, like, why would I want to invest in something that doesn't look that great? Just like the marina. The marina's blighted. We need to do work to improve that and support it until we find the solution forward once again. That works for everybody. And around small businesses, economic development, it's critical. That is the backbone of our community. Those small businesses like As Needed Bakery, some of the best sandwiches and bread in town, and even cookies too. And we can go downtown to Zocalo and the other wonderful establishments in our community that makes San Leandro what it is, a loving, inclusive community. But we're at a point right now that we need to move forward and make it safer and better for all. And I'm committed to that and working together with that. passion of mine to serve the community, and been doing it for the last 13 years. I never meant to be a politician. When I lobbied Congress with Barbara Lee to bring some money down for railroad crossings so they'd be safer, I told them I never meant to do this. And I said, that's how it's supposed to be. You never want to be a politician. You want to be a problem solver. And that's what I am. I'm committed. It's a hard effort to get back on, but I'm committed to making a difference because I care about our community. I care about our future. I care about our kids. And we need to make sure it's a safer community for all. Thank you again for the time. Love you all. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And Mr. Azevedo, your closing statement.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me today. It's been an honor to share my vision for San Leandro and discuss the priorities I have for our city over the next 4 years. I humbly ask for your support and endorsement as we work together to build the San Leandro we all want to live in, a place where every resident feels connected, valued, and safe. It's easy to get caught up in the politics of fear, to focus on what's wrong and let negativity take over. But I believe in a different path, one where we tackle our challenges head on while also celebrating the many good things we have in our city. I envision a San Leandro where our public spaces are vibrant and free from crime, where our neighborhoods are clean, and where families feel welcomed and supported. A connected, community-driven San Leandro is the key to a thriving future. That's why I've been out in the community leading cleanup efforts and serving as a conduit between our residents and our city government. As a policymaker, I've championed affordable housing projects, expanded community cleanups through a model I helped develop, and supported the creation of the Community Police Review Board to ensure transparency and accountability. Looking ahead, I see a San Leandro that continues to grow responsibly, with thriving local businesses, safer streets, and more green spaces for everyone. I'm proud to have the backing of the Alameda Building Trades Council representing over 100 unions because they know I stand with working families in our community. Together we can achieve great things. Let's keep building a San Leandro that we can all be proud of, where hope, action, and unity drive us forward. Thank you so much for having me today. I love San Leandro. That's our city. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks to both of you very much for staying on time. The audience, I want to let you know that some of you may have submitted questions that we didn't get to. The screeners combine similar questions of general interest to the audience, and we do have a limited time. So we hope that if you have more questions, you will contact the candidates directly for additional information. Your local leagues also participate in something called Vote 411, an online collection of candidates' information. We encourage you to view the candidates' information there. Again, that's called Vote 411. If you've moved or changed your name or wish to change your party affiliation, for example, since you last registered to vote, you need to re-register. Online vote registration is available at the Secretary of State website, which is sos.ca.gov. Again, that's sos.ca.gov. It's secure and easy. The deadline to register to vote online is October 21st for vote by mail. Voters may even register to vote on election day. If you go and vote in person, you'll vote provisionally. Ballots will begin to be mailed out on approximately October 5th. And of course, you can vote in person, by mail, or place your ballot in an official Alameda County ballot drop box. Whatever you choose, but please remember to cast your ballot on or before Election Day. This year, it's on Tuesday, November 5th. Thank you to the candidates for participating this evening. Thank you for taking the time to become an educated voter to all our audience. We also want to thank our wonderful League of Women Voters volunteers. We have many volunteers participating and want to thank them for their help. We welcome any of you to join the League of Women Voters, and can join too, by the way, in doing the hands-on work to empower voters and defend democracy. Please vote on November 5th or before. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your being here. That's it, and thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And that's all, folks. Thank you for watching. And subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube and bookmark OaklandNewsOnline.com. That ends the stream.